Stotra Sutta Divine Krishna Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Maharaj ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Jai.
ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki
Jai.
Seko Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Jai Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Syam Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki
Jai.
Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki
Jai.
Navadip Mayapur Dham ki
Jai.
पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथ धाम की
Jai.
ISKCON फिलाडेल्फिया की
Jai.
समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
all glorious assembled devotees,
Hare Krishna.
all glorious assembled devotees,
Hare Krishna.
all glorious assembled devotees,
Hare Krishna.
all glorious to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Good morning. We will continue to read the canto. Skand Leela Adi Madhya Leela of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chapter 5, The Activities of Sakshi Gopal. In text 34.
23.
29.
23.
23. Okay. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
So, Mother Nilambi, would you like to read that Bengali?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
কন্যাদান পাত্র আমি না হই তোমার, কৃষ্ণ প্রীত্যে করি তোমার সেবা ব্যবহার।
Sir, I'm not a suitable bridegroom for your daughter. I render service to you only for the satisfaction of Krishna. Purport. Both Brahmanas were pure Vaishnavas. The younger man took special care of the older one simply to please Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.19.21, Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Poja Abhyadika. It is better to render service to my devotee. Thus, according to the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is better to be a servant of the servant of God. One should not try to serve Krishna directly. A pure Vaishnava serves a servant of Krishna and identifies himself as a servant of Krishna. This is pleasing to Lord Krishna. Srila Narottam Das Thakur confirms this philosophy. Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Payeche Kiba. Unless one serves a liberated Vaishnava, he cannot attain liberation by directly serving Krishna. He must serve the servant of Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhisesa Sunyavadi Paschyata Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Good morning again. Welcome. Tomorrow is a very auspicious appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Gaur Purnima. It's a very nice opportunity to meditate on his teachings and activities. So we are continuing this wonderful pastime, which is being narrated by Nityananda Prabhu now, this time. Narrated by Nityananda Prabhu. Am I right? Do you remember? Yeah. When they meet Sakshi Gopal, Nityananda Prabhu narrates about this pastime, as I remember. So, I would like to see blessings of senior Vaishnavas to summarize a little bit. You can also share. This is the situation where the Brahmana, older Brahmana, was very much pleased by the genuine service of a younger Brahmana. We can really figure out from the one's service attitude, from one's activity, behavior. So the senior Brahmana, he's a pure Vaishnava. He was not just a Brahmana, he's a pure Vaishnava, it is said. But he could understand, feel the service mood of this younger Brahmana, and made up his mind that I want to reciprocate. And he wanted to reciprocate by offering his daughter to a younger Brahmana. And here he says, younger Brahmana, being very humble also, he from his reaction we can see that he was not a materialistic person. He didn't have an ulterior motive. He said that, sir, I'm not a suitable bridegroom for your daughter. He understands that his shortcomings. He's poor in the society, and he's humble also. So from his responses, I'm not suitable bridegroom for your daughter. I render service to you only for the satisfaction of Krishna, without any ulterior motive. So Prabhupada writes very wonderful purport here. Madbhakta puja bhyadika. Serving other Vaishnavas, is a superior service, as Lord explains in this verse. And Narottam Das Thakur also says, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Payechekeva. I remember in initial days when there were some devotees who were part of the congregation, and they will always write, in our movement, write your servant. And when we write a letter or something, message, we write your servant, so and so. That's the practice in etiquette, which we learn in ISKCON. So I remember the couple of people, they used to write servant of Krishna. I still remember, and you may not have heard, but I had experienced people as servant of Krishna. But our teachings shows that, servant of the servant, Gopi Bhakta Pada Kamala, Das Dasana Das. That's the way we can, that's the actual mode of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. I remember His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was giving a class in South India Yatra, and there one of the devotees who was serving the deity, every day his service was fanning the Ranganath, Sri Ranganath temple. So during that time, he would have a conversation with Ranganath also. He would have a conversation also. So one day, it happens to be one devotee asked, because you're a very close servant of Ranganath, please, can you please ask him when I will attain the Godhead? So the devotee said, yeah, of course I will ask him. So he inquired from Ranganath. This devotee was direct servant of Ranganath. He was fanning the Ranganath. So he inquired from Ranganath, Swami, I have this devotee he met. He says that he's asking when he will attain your abode. So Ranganath Swami responded, oh, him. He will respond in this lifetime in himself itself. So, the devotee was very happy. I forgot the name actually. I don't quote the wrong name. So he was very happy to see, okay, very nice that he's going to attain. But he was not rendering direct service to the Ranganath deity. But he said that he was still, thought that maybe his opportunity also comes first. So he asked, if you don't mind, when will I attain? because he was personally feigning the deity. When will I attain? So Rangana said, "Oh, you will have some more time." So he was surprised. He was surprised. How I'm so regularly serving you, regularly, sincerely I'm serving you, and I'll take more time than the person who is not directly serving you. He will come in this lifetime. So he asked. Rangana Swami said, "Oh, that's because he is servant of my servants. Because it means he is very humble. He is servant of my servant, and he is going to get very easily this lifetime. He is going to attain my abode." So by hearing this, the pujari who was, fanning the deity daily, immediately he started serving his devotees now. So this I heard long time back, just sharing in this connection that what is Gaudiya Vaishnava mode is, again Prabhupada writes, both Brahmanas were pure Vaishnavas. The younger man took special care of the older one simply to please Krishna. This is pleasing Krishna. Yeah, I'm pleasing Krishna, but rendering service to the Vaishnava. It's not like pleasing Krishna and I only serve Krishna to please him. He was pleasing Krishna by serving a Vaishnava. And Prabhupada refers to Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 19th chapter, 20th verse. Mad bhakta puja bhyadika. It is better to render service to my devotees. Lord Shiva also quotes, Vishnu Prabhu always quotes this verse, Adhananam servisam Vishnu Aradhana param. And this verse is, among all kind of worships, Vishnu worship is better. And better than that is Tadhyanam, to worship his devotees, his paraphernalia. It sounds very simple, but it's very difficult. But in this world, we learn to be master, Lord of the Lord, superior position in both material world, and continue that psychology into the spiritual practice also. So but through proper knowledge, we will be able to follow, practice well, so that we can attain very soon. Again, one more point. A pure Vaishnava serves as a servant of Krishna and identifies himself as a servant of the servant of Krishna. Okay, I'll pause it here with any comments, questions on this. Anyone heard this story which I referred before? Vishnu Prabhu want to say something on this?
No, I never heard that story before. I mean, it's there's a similar story, but not exactly the same. So a question could be, so why is the older Brahmin offering his daughter to this younger Brahmin? What's the prime reason, you might consider or wonder? First of all, that sounds like an arranged marriage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But usually when somebody gets married or the parents arrange a marriage, they think, oh, you got to make sure that they're well settled. They have good money. But here, the man is the younger Brahmin is no money or is poor.
Yeah.
So why is he doing this? And the younger Brahmin responds, yeah, I'm not a proper bridegroom. Yeah, I'm not rich, not wealthy. So what would you say to that?
Yeah, it's a very nice. Briefly, we discussed last class. Briefly, devotees shared something. My explanation was because the older Brahmana is a pure Vaishnava, he understands the real qualities should be the Vaishnava qualities, genuine person, which is endowed with 26 qualities. He has this knowledge. This younger Brahmana, even though materially he is poor, but spiritually he was rich. That it's not like he has done. He is the only one who has done. In the past also, isn't it? Many great kings, they used to offer their daughters to Brahmanas, irrespective of their material condition. The kings used to offer, when the Brahmanas come, okay, what can I offer? You want for marriage. And last time I quoted also Swayambhu Manu himself, he offered his daughter to Kardam Muni. I think it's because of the good proper understanding of the older Brahmana. He knows what is the real wealth. That is one thing I understand. And second thing is the younger Brahmana's qualification looks like, after spending so many days, he could understand this. I won't find a better boy. That's my understanding. If you can share anything else, that'll be great.
Those are good points. Those are good points. I mean, the background is that someone who's a Brahmin, whether younger Brahmin or older Brahmin, they know that the real goal of life is to go back to Godhead. It's not to become comfortable in the material world by getting a big position or having money or having a beautiful or handsome partner. But the real goal of life is to become Krishna conscious. And so this younger Brahmin has that ability. He's Krishna conscious and pure. So what better partner for his daughter to help her make progress to go back to Godhead. So also, in addition to what you were saying, the traditionally Hindu girls worship Lord Shiva. Why? To get a good husband like Lord Shiva. What's Lord Shiva's qualification? He lives in a smashan, very, a crematorium, but he's a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the primary qualification for the devotee, for the marriage partner. And so you were talking about directly serving Krishna as opposed to serving the servant of Krishna. What would you say? Well, we chant Hare Krishna. Isn't that directly serving Krishna? What about that?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah. Hare Krishna means, yes, that's what, service means pleasing. The whole purpose of calling is to be engaged in the devotional service. And how it is again, we are requesting Hare. We are engaging. The Radharani is also devotee. It doesn't mean that we're asking directly service. We may call so many times, but when service comes, it depends on our attitude towards the service. It depends on our mindset. We sometimes we may not accept service offered by somebody else because, why should I accept your service? That's very common, because mind is very much polluted. We are tricked. Even the service comes, but we don't accept. That's my observation. Realize this is, as we get purified, we will understand, and then we'll be very grateful. And I'll be very grateful. Okay, even though it sounded like very bitter to me in the past, but now I relish. I'm grateful. As we get purified, I think that's we understand. At the beginning, we think I directly go to Krishna, and what Krishna and me, and then no one else. But Narottam Das Thakur says, we have to follow the teachings of Rupa and Raghunath Goswami. Rupa and Raghunath Goswami has mentioned how Sanatana Goswami mentioned how one should practice bhakti. We follow the parampara system. If one is serious, actually, and that's what I say.
Yes, good points. Good points. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we're requesting Srimati Radharani to engage us in helping us engage in Krishna service. And you also talked about the parampara. We didn't just come up with this idea on our own, but we're chanting under the instruction of our spiritual master, of Srila Prabhupada. So we chant, and by chanting Hare Krishna, that's a service to him. You follow?
Right.
Yeah, so it's not only him, but the whole disciplic succession. So we're not just chanting just because we feel like it, but also that hopefully, but because we want to please Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, Lord Caitanya, all those the spiritual masters in disciplic succession. Therefore, there's that verse, Etan nirvidyamananam ichchitam akato bayam yoginam niprininitam hare nam anukirtanam. Chanting the holy names, following the ways of the great authorities, is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all. So not just chanting, but also chanting according to the directions given or the example given by the great authorities. So that includes the idea of serving the servant. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you very much. Anyone has other comments? More comments and questions on this? So we move to the next one. Sorry, I'm going very slow. That's okay, I think. Text 24, Mother Nilambre.
ব্রাহ্মণ সেবায় কৃষ্ণের প্রীতি বড় হয়, তাহার সন্তোষ ভক্তি তাহার সন্তোষ ভক্তি সম্পদ বাড়ায়.
Yeah. Lord Krishna is very much pleased by service rendered to Brahmanas. And when the Lord is pleased, the opulence of one's devotional service increases. Anyone would like to read that purport here? We can have a group reading. Anyone in a position to read? Pranath Prabhu, Mother Golokananda Priya, anyone? Okay, I can read. Please go ahead.
In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that the younger Brahman rendered service to the older one with the purpose of pleasing Krishna. It was not a matter of ordinary worldly dealings. Krishna is pleased when a Vaishnava is rendered service. Because the younger Brahman served the older one, Lord Gopal agreed to become a witness of the marriage negotiation in order to maintain the prestige of both devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would certainly not have liked to hear about material dealings unless such dealings were exchanged between two Vaishnavas. Marriage. Should I stop here?
No, continue.
Okay. Marriage agreements and ceremonies belong to ordinary material karma kanda section of the scriptures. The Vaishnavas, however, are not interested in any kind of karma kanda dealings. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, karma kanda, jnana kanda, kevala bishera bhanda. For a Vaishnava, the Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda section of the Vedas are unnecessary. Instead, a real Vaishnava takes this section as a poison pot, Vaisharavhanda. So sometimes we take part in a marriage ceremony for our disciples, but this does not mean that we are interested in karma kanda activities. Sometimes not knowing the Vaishnava philosophy and outsiders criticize such activity. Maintaining that a sannyasi should not take part in a marriage ceremony between a young boy and a young girl. However, this is not a karma kanda activity because our purpose is to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. We are giving all facilities to the general populace to take to Krishna consciousness. And in order to fix the devotees in concentration on the service of the Lord, marriage is sometimes allowed. We have experienced that such married couples actually render very important service to the mission. Therefore, one should not misunderstand when a sannyasi takes part in a marriage ceremony. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu took great pleasure in hearing about the marriage ceremony between the young Brahman and the daughter of the elderly Brahman.
Hare
Hari-
Krishna. Thank you much for reading nicely. Very interesting conversation.
We didn't read the verse. The translation wasn't read.
Oh, it was not read? I read it, actually. Yeah. Lord Krishna is very much pleased by service rendered to Brahmanas. And when the Lord is pleased, the opulence of one's devotional service increases. So it's a very, very nice purport, right? Generally, this is Chaitanya Caritamrita, where it's a topmost transcendental subject matter conversation. What it has to do a marriage conflict, marriage setup and marriage conflict between two Brahmanas. So there are a lot of comments we can get from this. First of all, this is very this is not a mundane subject matter as we see. Generally, marriage subject can be part of karma kanda section. Karmis may be interested in very much in the subject matter, but our interest is because here the Gopal is involved into it. Many times, I think Prabhupada also comments about Kurukshetra. Many times, people say, "Oh, Krishna," they just glorify about the Kurukshetra, but they don't glorify Lord Krishna. But for us, Kurukshetra wars happens all the time. Constant wars happening now in this earth also at this time. But why Kurukshetra is very important is because Lord Krishna is associated with it for us. Because Krishna's presence becomes transcendental subject matter. So similarly, here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi, right? He's a sannyasi, and here it says Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would certainly not have liked to hear about the material dealings unless such dealings were exchanged between the two Vaishnavas. And because particularly it's not only Gopal is involved, because the subject matter is between two Vaishnavas, the older Brahman and younger Brahman, they are great Vaishnavas. And the service was done with relation to please Krishna. This is fact that Prabhupada is really trying to justify many things here. In India, especially, people, till now, when I was last time I was in India, one brahmachari, he was a leader, he showed me how sannyas is involved in marriages and engaging in marriage ceremony. Literally, one of the great Vaishnavas in our society is they engage in, getting married, the devotees, they participate also. And Prabhupada also justifying here, he did not put his name, but Prabhupada had to do marriages. Personally, he conducted the marriage ceremony for several. But I think he was also criticized by devotees during that time as well. Now, he mentioned that we have we have experienced that such married couples actually render very important service to the mission. Anyone has an example? Anyone want to share one of the examples? Who is he referring to? He did not put their names. Any examples we can have on this?
Can I have the question once again, Prabhu?
Yeah, if you see in the screen, I highlighted. Prabhupada says, because Prabhupada conducted the marriage ceremony for the devotees, he understood not everybody, it's not just for brahmachari, everybody can understand. So he conducted, he says Prabhupada is a sannyasi, he conducted the marriage ceremony for several devotees. And now he says that we have experienced that such married couples actually render very important service to the mission. Now he said, we have experienced that. Anyone want to say something on this? Who was? Yeah, Vishnugata Pramana says. Please.
There are three famous married couples that first went to London to open the first ISKCON center in London.
Mm.
Guru Das and Jamuna, Mukunda and Janaki, and Shamsundar and Malati. So they were good service.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, very. This is very nice example. He did not write the names. I'm sure these translations. When Chaitanya Charitamrita was compiled in 75, I mean, not compiled in the sense that translated. I forgot that.
73, 74.
Yeah, 73, 74. By that time, devotees already went to London. They already established many things. So that's a great example. Anyone has any other example? These three prominent marriage. I know Vishnugata, you would know many couples whose names may not be meant. We may not know very prominent ones. We know. Any other names? Prabhupada Singh and we have experienced. How many marriages he did? He did for Tamal Krishna Gosai Maharaj also in according to Leelamrit in Rajasthan, Jaipur. He did. That is an interesting story, we can say. I'm sure all the marriages happened during that time. Prabhupada only conducted. So there's a objection in the society, Vedic society. Hey, why a sannyasi is engaged in such activity? To justify this is not the ordinary marriages. These are because these are involvement of the devotees. That's why it's very important. So here Prabhupada said, we are giving all facility to the general populace to take to Krishna consciousness, to fix the devotees in concentration on the service of the Lord. Marriage is sometimes allowed. Interesting. Marriage is sometimes allowed. Dhanacharya Prabhu writes in comment, Bhagavad Gita 6.1 also explains this topic nicely. I know he cannot speak it. Interestingly, I can open it 6.1. Okay, 6.1 Dhyan Yoga.
Personality of Godhead said.
One who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as is obligated is in the renounced order of life. Yes. And he is the true mystic and not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. Yeah. But I'm sure he's referring to sannyasi's duty also. And as a grahastha duty, as a grahasthas also by engaging themselves in a proper way in devotional service, working for Krishna. One who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as is obligated is in the renounced order of life. Is not just one who has taken the renounced order of life, but not doing his duty properly. Thank you for sharing this. Yes. Okay, any more further comments on this before we move?
Well, one point is that traditionally the sannyasis aren't doing the marriage ceremonies.
Yeah.
So it's not traditionally usually who does the marriage ceremonies is Brahmin priests, etc. So that Srila Prabhupada did it is a little unusual. And after, he did some in the beginning, but later he didn't continue to do them actually as his other devotees became qualified to do the ceremonies.
That's a very important point you made. It is, one has to understand, the rules and regulations should not be an obstacle to the progress. Rules and regulations are meant to progress in spiritual life. So as you made this point, during Prabhupada's time at the beginning, he didn't have any qualified person to perform this. So, as a sannyasi, he should not do it. He would have completely stopped it. But that's not as Rupa Goswami explains about niyamagraha. Niyamagraha, niyamagraha. Niyama agraha, niyama agraha. So we have to do ultimately it's for the purpose of Krishna. Bhishma, he was so much adamant to, I have taken vow. But he would have accepted. No, ultimately it's meant for Krishna's pleasure. He could have just followed the instruction of Krishna, and Krishna taught to that example that how important it is in our activity to please Krishna and gurus, spiritual masters and authorities. Probably is Adam. Is Acharya Prabhu? I don't know. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry, I forgot to change my name.
Okay,
Yeah. To paraphrase Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, Prabhupada was not just the only devotee, the only pure devotee, the only sannyasi. He was really the only grown-up in the early days of ISKCON. So there was no one else to do these things. If he didn't do it, it simply wouldn't happen. And there's another there's a letter from Prabhupada to Satsarup. He was married at the time, and Satsarup had written to Prabhupada asking about the rules and regulations proper about sexual contact between husband and wife. And I don't have the letter at my fingertips, but he said something like, it's not really proper that you ask this question of me, of a sannyasi, but because you have no one else to ask. It's like this, and it's like this, and it's like this. So I just thought that,
so it needs
shows what Prabhupada had to do, even if it's not traditional or it's not proper in some way, but who else is going to do it, and who else is going to teach us how to do it?
Okay, Amen.
Very nice. Thank you, Pasha. So basically you're saying it needs a lot of maturity to be practicing Krishna consciousness. We have to very sincerely understand, not just speculate and find faults. If you find faults, hey, how can you do this? Then one can run away like this. That can be a very offensive thing if you do not understand proper context of it. Vishnu the Prabhu want to say, yeah, please.
Well, that was a really excellent example, Acharya Prabhu. Really good. And I thought also that, in 1971, there was a Pandal program in Bombay, which was attended by tens of thousands of people. And during one of the days, Srila Prabhupada did a wedding of Veda devotees. One of them was from Sweden. One of them was from Australia. Vegavan was his devotee's name. Yeah, I forget his wife's name. But right in front of 10,000 people, he did the wedding. So that's quite interesting. That, of course, they were devotees. And Vegavan was the temple president in Stockholm, or became the temple president in Stockholm, and his wife. They were preaching there. They had a radio show to thousands and thousands of people they did regularly.
Wow. Yeah. There could be several reasons he could do, because to inspire how Western audiences embrace the Vedic culture also. That's to inspire others also too, because people are giving up the Vedic culture. I'm just thinking, what are the points would be in that situation in India. He did it. There could be some other Brahmins would be available, Karmakani Brahmins, but still he did it. So that also, apart from, is a new way of Vaishnava culture he's establishing. At the same time, also to inspire the Indian audience to see, look, the whole world is accepting, embracing now Vedic culture. Now also when marriages happens in Vedic tradition way, when West accepts that, it becomes very much, it spreads like anything. People appreciate it. It inspires them to appreciate the existing culture which they received. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. He must have been very much criticized also for that, I believe, for that act by others. Any criticism came from others because of that?
I don't know. Of course, that was early in the movement, 1971. 71, it's quite early. But it was a sensation. It was a sensation at the time, according to the Lilamrita.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Acharya Prabhu, you texted something. You want me? That's the one you referred to?
That's the letter I was referring to.
Okay.
In case anyone wants to see Prabhupada's actual words.
Very good. Thank you. All right. So we will. Any other questions, comments, devotees? We'll do one or two more. Let's do text 26. If no one has more comments on this, Mataji,
I'm
please.
just telling, yesterday only I was talking to one Prabhupada disciple. She told me they came, like from a high school boyfriend, and then they joined. Then when Prabhupada so tell them together, and then told, oh, you married? And then they know, Prabhupada knows that they were not married. And so Prabhupada said, you should get married. Yeah. The people, and Prabhupada, he's not used to having this living relationship, There's a Prabhupada want to establish that whoever live together, they have to be married.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Nilamri, text 26, please.
26, right? হ্যাঁ
Yeah.
ছোট বিপ্র বলে তোমার স্ত্রী পুত্র সব বহু জ্ঞাতি গোষ্ঠী তোমার বহুত বান্ধব.
The young Brahmin said, you have a wife and sons, and you have a large circle of relatives and friends. Next.
তা সবার Should I read, Prabhu?
Yeah.
তা সবার সম্মতি বিনা নহে কন্যা দান, রুক্মিণীর পিতা ভীষ্মক তাহাতে প্রমাণ.
Without the consent of all your friends and relatives, it is not possible to give me your daughter in charity. Just consider the story of Queen Rukmini and her father, Bhishmaka.
ভীষ্মকের ইচ্ছা কৃষ্ণে কন্যা সমর্পিতে, পুত্রের বিরোধে কন্যা নারিল অর্পিতে.
King Bhishmaka wanted to give his daughter, Rukmini, in charity to Krishna. But Rukmini, his eldest son, objected. Therefore, he could not carry out his decision. A stated purport, a stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone like to read this purport? Okay. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.52.25, Bandhunam ichhatam datum Krishnaya aginim nrupa tato nivari rukmi chaidyam amanyata. King Bhishmaka of Vidarbha wanted to offer Krishna his Krishna, his daughter, Rukmini. But Rukmini, the objected. Therefore, Bhishmaka withdrew his decision and decided to offer Rukmini to the king of Chedi, Shishupal, who was a cousin of Krishna's. Rukmini convinced, Rukmini conceived of a trick. I'll put mute. However, Rukmini conceived of a trick. She sent a letter to Krishna asking him to kidnap her. Thus, in order to please Rukmini, who was his great devotee, Krishna kidnapped her. There ensued a great fight between Krishna and the opposing party, headed by Rukmini's brother, Rukmi. Rukmi was defeated and, because of his harsh words against Krishna, was about to be killed. But he was saved at the request of Rukmini. However, Krishna shaved off all of Rukmi's hair with his sword. Sri Balram did not like this, and so, to please Rukmini, Balram rebuked Krishna. So here we can see the younger Brahmana, because genuineness, he said, this is not the right way. He was talking very sincerely. This is not the right way. We may speculate so many. People always speculate, right? They say, oh, he must have ulterior motive. Why did he go out of his way to help this old man? He must have something in his mind. He must have seen this rich man, this old Brahman has a lot of money. That's he's blamed later. This is very normal. It's not. It happened those days, thousand years back, and it's not now also. Actually, people will always blame for all this thing, but this is narrated in this because he's genuine. The Brahmin was very genuine, and he's arguing with this Brahmin. He said, "Why are you doing this?" Because marriages are done. It's better marriages are done with consulting properly with our friends, relatives, so that's done proper. Everyone agrees. Bhishmaka, he wanted to give his daughter to Krishna, but it didn't work out because his son did not agree with it. Rukmi did not agree with it. So everything changed with their decision. Of course, finally, Rukmini got married to Krishna because Rukmini's desire to marry with Krishna. So this is 8:45. Any comments on this at this time?
And this is what actually happened. The brother of the older Brahman's daughter objected, just like Rukmi.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a premonition.
Yeah.
Although he's not seeing us at a ESP, but still, it's exactly what happened.
Yeah, interesting. So we can learn from the Shastras. It's not just sake of hearing, but it warns us, it educates us, trains us, and we take proper decision on. We'll do one more if no one has more comments. Okay, we'll do up to 30. Text 29, Mataji.
বড় বিপ্র কহে কন্যা মোর নিজ ধন নিজ ধন এটা 29 right?
Yeah, right, correct.
নিজ ধন দিতে নিষে দিবে কোনজন?
The elderly Brahman said, my daughter is my own property. If I choose to give my property to someone, who has the power to stop me? Yes, 30.
তোমাকে কন্যা দিব সবাকে করি তিরস্কার সংশয় না করো তুমি করহ স্বীকার.
My dear boy, I will give my daughter to you in charity, and I will neglect the position of all others. Don't doubt me in this regard. Just accept my proposal. So Brahman was very much convinced, that he was confident actually in both ways. He says, I make the call. I'll make the decision on this. It happens that, so why the others they have no right to object me. So he went on. went on with his determination, desire to offer his daughter. He said, whoever other people say, I will not listen, and this is what I want to. He was very much convinced about this proposal. He knew that others may object, but he said, even the object, but doesn't mean that they are in a right position to understand the situation, in the sense that you are the suitable son-in-law, eligible for my daughter's hand. So it looks like Brahman is convinced, even though some obstacles comes, he says, I'll face it. I'll face it. I don't have any problem. But but here looks like Brahman is trying to convince, less worrying than what the relatives will tell, is more worrying the younger Brahman will accept this proposal or not. That's I understand from this. One is the opposition will come, obstacles will come. But the groom has to be ready to accept first, right? So that's why Brahman looks like very happy and convinced that I want to offer my daughter's hand to you, and he is requesting to accept this proposal. His biggest concern is, will I not get better, groom than like him? Any comments on this?
Would you think that would work today?
Sorry?
You think such an arrangement would work today? The father says, "Oh, my daughter is my property, so she'll, I can do what I want." The daughter doesn't have a say so apparently here, or she'll just, of course, at that time, the daughter apparently accepts the direction of the father. How would it work today? Would this work?
No.
Today is still up to certain extent people accept, certain extent, but the time is changing so fast because of technology. The awareness and the culture is spreading everywhere, and today means yes, it's very hard nowadays. But there's still some people will be willing to accept.
Yeah.
Still there.
Very rarely some people they do accept.
I don't think, I don't know if my father-in-law asked my wife.
Those days are different from now.
So it's just 25 years ago, and of course because of culture is spreading.
Nowadays, if father says, they will say, no, your old days, don't tell that. These days are different. So they say like that.
Well, nowadays the issue is
they choose their own husband.
Yeah, they choose their husband. Now they get married. That's a big thing. Whoever I speak, they say, "Oh, I have to settle down. I have to build my career, and then I will see."
But marriage is lost also like that. Nowadays, there's so fast decisions and then fast hi bye.
Yeah. Any other comments on this today's reading? Okay. So if you don't have, thank you so much for giving this opportunity. We'll stop it. Everyone have a wonderful Gaur Purnima festival tomorrow, and a lot of preparation needs to be done, I'm sure. Vancha kalpatarvyascha kripasin.